In today's episode, Ken sits down with Justin to talk about the lessons that shape leaders, from work ethic and discipline to why talent alone is never enough. Together, they discuss the responsibility leaders carry, the power we have to influence others, change lives, and create impact far beyond our own success. Subscribe now and grow with us.
All right, guys. So today isn't Friday. Today is, what is today? Wednesday. In the past, Justin, I've been doing these on Fridays. I'm always like, happy Friday, got another speaker on. But today's Wednesday. We're changing things up in 2026. But for anyone joining our YouTube channel for the first time or joining us back again, obviously we appreciate you subscribing. Go to KLear Channel, subscribe, share it with friends, family. Our goal is to help change the world one leader at a time and share some incredible people. And today there's just another incredible guy that I know and I've known for a bit, my buddy Justin Hageman, and we're going to get to know him and ask some questions, and he'll tell you a little bit about life and business and how well he's done. So Justin, first of all, thanks, man. I appreciate you joining. I know we're just chatting a little bit about life and being a dad. Nothing cooler than being a dad, in my opinion. But do you mind sharing with everybody that's joining us maybe, and they watch the channel, a little bit about your background, where you're from, where'd you grow up, a little about sports, maybe. I know you're a big sports guy, so.
Easy. I was raised in Western Kentucky, real small town in Western Kentucky. Not a whole lot to do, hang out at the local Sonic or the gas station type town, right? And let's see, man, I grew up with an older brother, fortunately, that beat me into toughness, and always.
How much older? How much was it? Was it
21 months difference?
Okay, so about 2 years. Okay.
Yeah. And I say that fortunately because all of the neighborhood kids that were older, everyone was older than I was, but I grew up and I was the one that got beat on for a long time until I got bigger, right? So yeah. I got to play, sports up with the big kids, even out in the backyard playing football with a kid that's 3 years older than you when you're 9 and they're 12. I mean, they're a lot stronger and a lot bigger. So I got roughed up pretty good when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And then obviously I think I grew up and I think I was really fortunate in a sense of that kind of childhood because sports started to come natural to me playing, all kinds, every sport. I remember shoveling the driveway where we get a foot of snow like last week, and kids are in the house on computers. We would shovel the driveway off and have 3-4 feet of snow around the driveway edges. And there's 10 of us out playing basketball when it's 25 degrees,
Yeah.
And, so growing up, I mean, I played a lot of sports. I didn't do much other than play sports as a kid. I played football, basketball, baseball, golf, like anything I could do outside and with people or even out just with my grandfather or something playing golf, I'd do it. And I think it helped me a lot in the future in sports because at 14, 15, 16 years old, 14, 15, starting to play a high school sport, I got to play on a varsity team with guys that I had been playing sports with growing up my whole life. And
right.
I always played up. And then eventually when I got to be that older guy on the team, junior, senior, I was a pretty high recruit out of high school in baseball. I finally quit playing basketball and football my junior year and just focused on baseball and played a little bit of golf, right? And I went to school at Western Kentucky University. I got a full ride scholarship to play Division I baseball there. Going into Western, they had just gone to a super regional in the NCAA tournament, beat Ole Miss that year. And they had a really great coach, Coach Chris Finwood there, that had a tight ship program. And not only a tight ship program, but when I got to go visit it, that team had a lot of fun too. And so I went in as a freshman, and he told me, he said, you got the opportunity to be a weekend starter, right out of the gate, which doesn't really happen much in college baseball.
Especially being a D1 program that just went to sub-regionals, right? So you got to be good.
So I went in and really worked hard my freshman fall and earned a Saturday starting role in the college rotation and ended up pitching some Fridays as a freshman that year and had a great freshman year. When Sunbelt was the conference we were in at that time, Sunbelt Freshman of the Year. I was a McDonald's All-American my freshman year.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
think I led the league in a couple different statistical categories. But after my freshman year, our coach, the athletic director at the school, and the coach ended up going to Old Dominion. And I don't know if you followed much about Old Dominion's baseball program, but within a year, he had them in regionals and super regionals and got a nice brand new stadium built. And Finwood has done an amazing job over there building that great program as well. And
Wow.
assistant coach, Coach Matt Myers, took over my sophomore year. And I'll never forget the call I got that night. It was probably midnight in June, and said, "Hey, Coach Finney's leaving. I'm going to apply to be the head coach. Do you support me?" And I support Matt. I've known him since I was a freshman in high school. He followed me around, watching me throughout high school. I would say, I hate to boast on it, but they were recruiting a top SEC player pitcher to come to a smaller mid-major Division I. But I love the culture of that team and the university's track record in the sport, and they were just unbelievable. And that's why I ended up going there, was because of that recruiter, Matt Myers. But he took over and had to rebuild for a couple of years. And I think, by my senior year, we had one of the better programs in the conference again. And, I was a good college athlete. I got to play in Cape Cod my sophomore year, which is an invite-only top 200 NCAA baseball players get to go. So I got to play up there. I had a little tendonitis going into that summer. So short, it's a short summer league, so nothing too crazy. And then going back to my junior year, I was projected to be a pretty high pick for a pitcher in NCAA and into the minors in the major league draft or whatever. And I tore my shoulder my first game my junior year. Come out excited. We worked so hard in the off season, just adrenaline pumping, throwing hard that game, mid upper 90s, and struck the first two batters out, painted two fastballs on the third batter, threw a slider, and I felt my shoulder pop. So, that was a short-lived, and could have had surgery, done the rehab. I chose the rehab route instead. I rehabbed the entire year my junior year, come back the last 2 or 3 games my junior year, pitched great. I think I threw 15 or 16 innings as a starter in 3 games and didn't give up but 2 or 3 runs. And I didn't get drafted my junior year. I had a lot of calls during the draft they were going to take me if I would sign for this amount. And I said, no, I'm going to go finish my education and go perform again. And if you want to draft me the next year, same thing. And I did. I worked. That was probably the hardest I ever worked. That point in my time, junior year, was when I realized that talent will only take you so far. Hard work, rehab, prehab will get you the next level. And I think I just learned it too late for sports. Senior year, I went back. I think I threw the most innings in Conference USA. I think I had the most strikeouts in Conference USA, and I think I had the lowest ERA in the conference as well. And as a senior, you don't have an option. You either sign or you don't play anymore. And I had a lot of calls again that senior year about signing to play if I would take this much money, which was enough for a plane ticket and a couple beers. And I said, no, I don't think I want to do that. I guess this is the end of my career for baseball, and chose not to go do that. I got the opportunity to work with kids. You have a skill people value. Sports, especially, being a top tier soccer player, people will pay you money, a great amount per hour, to go teach that. And there's a time period for that skill to be applied. So I did some lessons and did some coaching and worked with a couple guys. One of the guys now is in the majors. He's an awesome kid. I'm not going to say his name on here because I don't have the right to, but he's a 6'7" right-handed pitcher that has worked his way through the minors to get in. And that was the one kid that was in high school that I really focused on working with. And I'm not taking any credit for his success, but obviously he's done extremely well. And I ran a few baseball camps. An old business mentor, kind of hustler guy, Mark McGee, who owned a pest control at home. I always envied him in a sense of his lifestyle and the business that he ran and how the community loved him for what he did and how he treated people. So he kind of told me, hey, do a couple camps, whatever. I think I made $15,000 cash and wasn't in a hurry to get a big boy job.
Wait, what?
In 2 weeks. And so then fortunately, one of my buddies had fell out of a deer stand duck hunt or in Arkansas and broke his foot and wasn't going to be able to guide duck hunts that year. So duck hunting in Arkansas, biggest thing, a lot of good clients. Called me and he said, hey, can you come down and guide duck hunts this winter? Right. Just graduated in May, did the summer thing with the baseball and the kids. And then that fall in August or September, he called me and I packed my truck up and I drove to Arkansas that winter. And I spent
Perfect
90 days in Arkansas guiding duck hunts, which was amazing. Not that I'm a great duck hunting guide, but the relationships and the people you got to meet and,
Sure.
that were from all over the country coming in. And that's when I kind of figured out like sales was going to be what I should do. All of them were like, oh, you're young. You got an ambitious mindset. Like try to get some experience in sales and see where it takes you while you don't have the obligations in your life like grown-ups do. So after that duck season, I came back, started applying for jobs. Being the entitled guy that I was at that time, I applied for management roles and director roles for sales companies. And surely I didn't get a call. But all the sales companies, entry level, I started applying for, I finally started getting some calls back. It's kind of how I fell into entry level sales, in our business and learning that aspect. And from starting there, I mean, I think sales was easier for me because I knew talent would only take you so far. You have to have hard work and a good discipline and work ethic to achieve what you really want to. So I didn't make that same mistake, and I applied it from the first day. And I would say got promoted relatively quickly in our business to a management role, running my own day-to-day company. It took me 1 year to go from entry level into management, and the rest is kind of history there. I lived in Knoxville, ran a sales office there. I think it was top 1 or 2 sales companies in the country for 2 years. Then I moved back to Nashville, and I've been here since November of 2017. Had a little bit of rebuild on the move back and starting the company here, but since 2019, 2020, we've been at the top of the list since. I hit organizational consultant promotion standards in 2024. I think we hit them in summer of 2024, and got the pleasure to start working with the big boys and learning from the big boys then. So fast forward to where we are today.
We have, and just by you sharing your story, we have a very similar story, just different sports.
Sure.
I didn't tear my shoulder, but I had a big issue. A coach and I just didn't see eye to eye my junior year. I'd gone abroad to try to play and study a little bit, came back and had a disagreement, took a semester off from playing, thought of transferring, played my 5th year, same thing. I learned that it wasn't about, talent will take you so far, but really it's the work ethic that's going to make the biggest difference. And it's funny because I also coached a lot of kids soccer and summer camps and all that kind of stuff too. So I'm curious. You
make some money.
Yeah. And listen, then, getting, 8-year-olds to pay attention. I was like, I don't know how much longer I can do this.
Right.
But you mentioned a few people in that story, some coaches along the way that made an impact. I heard you say your grandfather earlier.
Sure.
Who in your life has made an impact on Justin, just to kind of make him who he is now, what he stands for, what he believes in? Any life lessons there that you can share?
Yeah, it's funny. When my wife and I got married, I would say, in relative speaking comparison, later in life. We didn't get married until I was 31. I think she was 29. So we've been through a lot of different phases together.
Me too, by the way.
Right.
Interesting enough. Yeah. Almost identical, right?
We went through high school phases together and then college phases and friend groups that were still friends with some of those people we came across paths with. And then, my business and her going to medical school and residency and other groups. So we've been through lots of phases, I would say, of life, which most
people. Can I pause you? So you knew her back in high school?
Oh, yeah. I met her when I was 15 or 16.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
I think I was 16. She was 15.
Okay. So keep going. I didn't realize that. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. Just a lot of phases. And there's been a lot of people throughout my life that have made massive impacts. And you could tell stories from the time you were 5, 6 years old, but the guys I grew up with, obviously, like my brother and all of our older friends that lived in that neighborhood, I think that's where kind of my toughness came from. It's instilled in you from that age, the toughness that you have. And, when you're getting beat up on by them, and it's all fun and play at the time, right? Now it's funny because still today, like I'm still really good friends with some of those guys I grew up in the same neighborhood with. And we tell stories about it a lot, right? Yeah. And so I think that's probably the biggest impact was toughness there from those guys. I think and then being the youngest in the neighborhood. I think throughout high school, I had a really, really good baseball coach, Greg Perry. And Greg, he was the guy that he knew I was outgoing, fun. I want to test the limits on what I can get away with.
Yeah.
Greg always knew how to rein me in as, he used to call me Bulldog. He was like, we go how you go. If you come in and you're slacking, everybody else is going to slack. If you come in with this level of intensity and excitement, everybody else is going to follow suit with you, right? And my team, say my team, but our team, when I was a senior in high school, it was the first time we had won our regional baseball championship in 20 years or something crazy, and went to a state championship tournament, right? And, Greg, I got away with the little bits he would, but he always kept me in line. And going into college, and I got drafted to the MLB out of high school. I was the first kid since like the 80s that had gotten drafted to play in the MLB from our town as well. And I chose to go to college. And I didn't choose to go to college necessarily because I wanted to go get the education that college was going to give me. I went because I wanted to go for the experience of college and the people you meet. And is it really like the American Pie movie, right? So I wanted to go.
Right.
And I think
Stifler,
Yeah.
what are you doing here?
That's right.
Hey, wait a second. What are you doing here?
I think the coaches at Western Kentucky, when I went there, that coaching staff knew exactly who I was before I got there. And they knew I was going to be the guy that was going to test the limits. What can I get away with? And I think like Chris Finwood in that situation was the head coach of the team. And he was the guy like Greg was in that phase of my life that, when I showed up late, I stopped showing up late because of the amount of polls he would make me run for hours. Right. And, I think that was a big impact. I think my grandfather, he didn't want me to do sales. That was the closest person in my life. He did not want me to do sales. It was risky. It wasn't a guarantee. He was a big-time corporate guy. He was a lineman, foreman for the electric company in town, made it up as high as you could in the local electric company, pensions, old school pensions and stuff like that. And I respect him for doing it. And that's what our world was built on is workers like that. But, that was the only time I ever didn't take his advice. I started doing sales anyway. And 2 or 3 years after, he come and visited my business and got to meet my people and the impact I was having with them. And I'm not going to lie, my grandfather teared up and said, I can't believe I didn't want you to come do something like this. And I think those were big impacts in my life up to the point of this business that knew that I was the one that was going to try to push my limits and figure out. But I'm also very coachable, and I take the advice very well. I don't ever look at coaching and correction as criticizing. I look at it as you're giving me a shortcut to being more successful, right? Yeah. And I think those people played a lot. But I think that where the entrepreneurial aspect really started was probably Mark McGee, who I'd met at home. He was just a local entrepreneur, owned a pest control company. Signed off on my college internship that summer when I was teaching baseball. Hope they don't come back and take my degree. But the McGee's always.
We'll bleep that part out.
He played a big role in getting more out of life. Just put it that way. My parents are hardworking people. My dad owned a business. I watched him work when we were on the road for baseball tournaments. He was the guy, he'd have a suit on for the job and then put a coaching jersey on to coach third base. And, that was obviously opening to a small part of what entrepreneur and freedom looks like. But really the bigger lifestyle, what more you can achieve come from, those people along the way.
Love it.
Yeah. Then you get into our business and, there's so many great examples of entrepreneurs and fathers and mothers and people that do it all. It's not or, it's and. I'm going to be a great business owner and a great father and a great husband and a great, example of what physical fitness looks like and what, life should be like. So our business provides a lot of the ands to it too.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's funny. You mentioned your grandfather's story. I remember my mom, when I first got into sales, she's like, hold on a second. Because again, both parents are engineers, architects. You have no car, because I borrowed my grandma's car. You have no apartment, lived at grandma's house. You have no salary. Oh, honey, you are crazy. I don't know how are you going to stay warm? You don't even have a coat. And then she comes to visit my office in Columbus. We have 40, 50 guys, and she's like, everyone's like, oh my gosh, your son taught me this. He hired me. He gave me it. And she's all the way to the airport taking him. She's like crying. She's like, I'm so proud of you. Like, and
it's funny.
It hits the heart. It hits the heart. I love it.
Anyone in my family even had a clue what I did until I got promoted to consultant. I don't think anyone knew exactly they knew I did sales. My company did sales for AT&T, but I don't think they knew an impact that I had on people until conference. I brought my mother and my brother to my promotion. There. And I don't think they had a really clue what now I have a couple
powerful
past that knew me from like high school, college days, but much younger than me, and they've approached me about coming to work for me. And now one of them obviously runs the office over in Greenville, South Carolina, Cole Gardner, and I have a guy in my program today, Jake Price, who our grandparents were best friends, but he's 8 or 10 years younger than I am. It's funny because like they see who I am at work and they knew who I was at home, and still who I am when I go home and put on some camouflage and go try to find something.
Right. I love it. Love it. So obviously we have a lot of people that join the channel that are in our business. Any tips for the young sales guys or girls that want to get this thing down? Sounds like you had a little inclination that this could be a route for you, but no formal training. Any tips you'd like to share with that group?
What I would say to that group, Ken, is you don't realize how important goals are. And I don't know if writing down a goal for 3 months to achieve is really that important, or as important as your mindset and outlook on everything. Like, what do you really want to get? How do you really want to live your life? What schedules do you really want to have when life does get busy in your later years too, right? Like, the quicker you can figure out the what am I doing this for, the what you do becomes really easy. Sales becomes a lot easier when you know why you're doing it. If you know what you're doing it for, what you're doing actually becomes easier. For those people, it's just figure out your purpose with it, right? And I think every time I have really zoned in on my intentions of what I want to achieve in these time periods, my intention was to be really great with sales, and everything I did pushed me toward being really great at sales and customer acquisition and being a great solution provider for AT&T, right? And then when I really zoned in, my intentions on becoming a great leader and more for others, everything I did was evolving around becoming a great leader and what I can do with other people and help them. And even to ownership and consulting, it just, when your intentions are for something, your actions tend to follow that. But you have to know what your intentions are first. And for anybody, it doesn't really matter if you don't have to be the best in sales to be the best leader, the best coach. You have to be good at it and good enough at it for someone to seek your advice and learning from you. And then the rest of it is how you communicate the messages. And I always say leadership is, leadership is not a title like it seems, team lead and, executive manager and all this stuff. Leadership is not a title, it's a behavior. And it's how you conduct yourself around those people, right? And that's the ultimate goal, is influencing people to become their best 100% of their potential. How much can I help them achieve of that 100% of potential? And I can do a lot, but a lot of it falls on the guy too, knowing their purpose and knowing what they're doing it for.
Yeah, 100%. So you know the why, the purpose, the who, the relationship, the where you're going with it, the activity of, I know for me, a lot of my 20s, I was knocking on doors, and I tell people I have a little callus on my finger here for all the doors I knocked on.
We call that knocker's knuckle.
Yeah, right. It's right here. I still have it.
And there's a new trick in the book. I'll share it with you, right?
Okay.
Keep a golf ball with you, and when you knock, you make sure you knock on the wood frame, not the glass. Knocker's knuckle's not a thing anymore. Yeah.
Okay. Things change. Shoot. I didn't know that back then, but yeah, Yeah, and listen, I remember college roommates were like, "Oh, you're crazy, you're stupid. Well, you couldn't get a better job than doing that. And you're a D1 athlete, Penn State, blah blah blah." And
Yeah.
I guess it worked out, huh?
Yeah.
I guess it
It's
worked
like
out.
that old saying, share your secrets with only your closest friends or whatever. At the end of the day, I really never had that experience. Um, my brother and I one time got in a little argument over what I was doing because I don't know, we were playing cornhole and things got heated, so he had to go somewhere. But I didn't tell a lot of people what I was doing. It really isn't anybody's business. If I'm having fun, if I'm making money, I'm supporting myself, and I know where I'm going. What's it matter to you? And if you want to destroy a big dream, you tell a small-minded person, right? And there's not a whole lot of big dreamers in the world, but the ones that do, you got to protect your dream and not share it with people who have small minds.
Yeah, love it. Love it. And couldn't agree more. And it's so funny because even nowadays, and I know you fly first class a lot. I think we were flying to somewhere and we were sitting next to each other in first class randomly. But it's so often when we explain our business to someone in first class or someone who runs a business and they're like,
They get it.
"Oh my God, that's so smart."
Yeah, they
Right?
get it.
Like, that's so smart. So tell me, obviously you work hard for yourself, for your family, people you love. What are some neat things that you've got a chance to do? I know you're a big golfer. I'm sure you've been to the Masters a few times, I think, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I would say I feel like I work hard. I feel like I work hard for my people. I really do. It's funny how the things have changed over the years. I felt like, coming from a small town and wanting a lot of what I was expecting is, in the world of money, it was easy to attain that. So then it's like, what's the real purpose? How many guys can I change their lives? That's it. And I don't think it's how many guys can I teach how to make $1 million a year. It's how many guys can I change their lives, right? And in my organization, as you know, like my one first gen that wasn't open a full year last year hit $1 million in 8 months. And the four guys who have been open for longer than that 1 year all hit $2 million. And
So cool.
I think about it. They have stay at home wives. They have children. They have great family. They're like building great lives, and I'm proud of that, right? Not to say I take the credit for their successes, but I think I played an impact on getting them there, right?
100%.
I've gotten to do a lot of stuff, Ken. I mean, I think I counted the other day. I've been to 7 or 8 Super Bowls, and I've never watched. I haven't watched a football game on TV in 10 years, but I've been to 7 or 8 of the last Super Bowl.
Are you going this weekend, by the way? Are you going to be there?
First birthday for the kid, man. Can't miss that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then last year he was.
I'm going for the first time, to be honest.
Is that right?
Yeah, very first time. I told myself same idea. Like I told myself I'm not going to buy it myself. I'm going to win it from our contest
Sure.
we do in our business, and
Yeah,
I finally ended up top 3.
Every event that I have done, except for the Ryder Cup, has been done through our business. Like NCAA football national championships, NCAA basketball national championships, NFL games, Super Bowls, the Masters through the business. Like I've been to almost every sporting event you could possibly think of that people would like. That's like goals to do.
That's it. Yeah.
Except for the College Baseball World Series. That's the only sporting event I think of. I know, right? Just never cared about even going. It's so hot in Omaha in the summer. Yeah. They look miserable on TV, and I may have had a bad taste for baseball for a while and didn't watch it at all. But World Series, went and watched the Braves win the World Series with a couple partners, Cooper and Cole, and been to the Super Bowls with Cooper and man, I've been to Bali. We did the top 10 trip.
That's right.
Yeah, client paid for, first class business flights across the world, top amenities at the Four Seasons and the Regis, and going to Bali and experiencing that, and then going to Bora Bora, experiencing that Four Seasons, and then going to Italy on a 2-week tour. Like just amazing experiences with great people, that I don't talk to on a monthly basis, see every couple months, and getting together for those weeks is a lot of memories you can't replace,
Yeah.
My child in 1 year of life, we went to Italy for 2 weeks. We've taken him to Florida, South Carolina, Texas. I'm going to miss some places, but I think he's been to like 6 or 7 states and a country or 2. in a year.
So, it's funny you say that because one of Mason, our little one's buddies, told him recently how many Christmas presents he got. This was our convo last night after Brady's birthday was yesterday. And he's like, I kind of felt bad, Daddy, that he only got X amount of presents or whatever. And Mommy chimed in and goes, yeah, that's for. And then your brother's over here upset that he didn't get food at, bowling tonight because we said, no, we already ate dinner, like we have to keep it. And we're going to South America next month. We're going snowboarding in 2 weeks. Like,
yeah,
it's tough, man. But, well, final thoughts, any final thoughts? And this has been awesome, Justin. Thank you so much. A ton of great stuff. Any final thoughts for those that are jumping on?
I think that the value is you can find value anywhere you really go looking. You can find, the bad anywhere you really go looking too, with anything. And I think that providing a channel like this where guys can just get on and listen to some stories, there's a lot of relation to it and be able to relate. And I think that everything is in the application, right? I have not met someone yet that I didn't think could do our business or do our job and learn the skills necessary to do it. If you have the will, if you have the work ethic, you have the attitude, and you're able to be coached, the potential is truly unlimited with what we do. It's simple, and it's scalable, which is really important in the long run, so it opens a lot of doors to some great networks and great people and great relationships that I'm sure will last a lifetime.
Love it. Well, Justin, I appreciate you very much. Obviously, I'm obviously just a peer in the business. I've watched you kind of grow up in this thing. I mean, you've done so many great things. You've not only, started, learned the business, crushed the business. You've changed the business for the better, right? And you should be very proud of not only the things you've accomplished financially, but all the impact you're making. Because I know I've sat in some of your training sessions myself and taken some nuggets away to apply to my business. So I just want to say thank you for joining us today.
Yeah,
it's been awesome.
Absolutely. Congratulations on all your successes as well. Thank you,
brother. All right. I'm going to stop it here. And again, if you guys are joining the KLear Channel, please subscribe. You'll find us on YouTube. You'll see us all over Instagram and all the other social media sites. Thank you, guys.